All right, all right, all right. It is only 7:58. I typically go live about 8 o'clock, but I figured, what the heck? Let's get in here early. I sometimes I do have the tendency, I gotta confess, of being like 1 minute late, and it always bugs me because when you grow up the child of a basketball coach, right? He always reminds you that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And so I don't want to be late. And so wanted to start a couple minutes early here. Got a few folks join us. We got George H9I. Welcome. Welcome, George. Glad to have you. I hope you're doing well. A few other folks will be joining us. I know they're all saying like, oh, Sturge usually shows up about, 8:01. What's he doing being here at 7:58? But hey, alas, we are here. This is my what's up, B Frank? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Guys, I don't know because I don't pay attention to this stuff, but I'm told by my team that I am at, what's up, Tracy? I am at 993 subscribers on YouTube. My kids are going to be very impressed if I get to 1,000. So what's up, Larry B from Virginia? How you doing? Super Sam, my man. Good day to you, sir. Good day, Super Sam. Good to see you. Glad to have you here. So, hey, tell your mom, tell your friends, tell everybody, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel so I get 7 more subscribers so my kids can think I'm cool with 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. As you guys clearly know, I don't do this for the fame. I don't do it for any other reason than to help. I mean, truly, my heart, my goal is to make a difference. If I can show up on a Monday night for 45 minutes or an hour and answer some of your questions and help you have a good day, then that's what I want to do, make a difference. We got Michelle from Texas. Hello, lady. How you doing? Good evening. Good to see you. We got Greg Walker. I love that one. Jesus Christ Lives. That's awesome. We got my man, Jonathan. What's up, Jonathan? My brother from another mother. That said, he was a good, wait, we got a joke here. Did you hear about the dog that was floating in the ocean? They said he was a good boy. Boo. That was a good one. I do like that one. That was good. I'll give you a tip of the cap to that one. That was good. We got Alexi. Hello, Alexi. We got James Baker. Tom Stoddard. Welcome. I know. Ouch. That was good. It was a good attempt. Let's try the dad joke button. Where did my dad joke button go? I'm so dismayed. It's not readily available. It should be right here. I might have to go to the dad joke. Don't worry. You always got to have a backup. I got the dad joke calendar. Yeah, we got the calendar. Let's go to the date and let's see what we can see. We got June 22nd. And let's see our dad joke for the day. Some of you guys who are new are like, why is this guy telling dad jokes? Because the market can be so serious all the time. We gotta laugh a little bit. What's life if we're not laughing? How do you know when a party is for gamers? There's tons of streamers. Boo. Okay, I'll give an A for effort. Here's a good dad joke for you guys. Dad joke on Father's Day. Should have told you yesterday. I would give my dad what he really wants for Father's Day, but I can't afford to move out yet. I do like that one. That's a good one. Yep. What's up, Bob in Virginia? We got Greg Walker. We got Tracy is here. We got Paul from Buffalo, Texas. Yes, I did have a good Father's Day. I got to watch my boys play basketball. I love basketball. Love seeing them. And I had a proud moment. One of my best friends from high school, who was a college basketball coach, now he coaches at a Christian academy in Cincinnati, came to watch my boys play in the morning, saw my youngest son, Tyler, play, and he had about 18, went 4 for 6 from the three-point line. Get this. I want you, this is my, at the beginning of all my times with Grow Ben, I always like to point out something I just find to be funny, right? Whether it be, I think last time I talked about being in Italy and just seeing Americans gripe, right? Okay. Nice. My man, Joaquin, appreciate you, man. So here's the funny thing I want to point out. So I'm at this basketball tournament, okay? And it is for Under Armour, national tournament, national championship for the tournament. And the teams that win are always the teams that have kids on them that you just sit there and think like, How is that possible? Right? How is that kid that big? Now, I don't want to discount the fact that there are big kids out there. I don't want to discount that fact, right? But typically, when you look at a kid, right, and then you look at their parents, you can generally, okay, I get it. Oh, that's cool. I get it, right? And so the team that won it for my son Tyler's age group, 11-year-olds, fifth grade, 11-year-olds, has a kid on it that won the MVP who is 6'3" and can dunk. You know how tall his dad is? 6'2". And you're like, bro, okay, all right. And here's the thing. What can you do? Yeah, it was Danny Almonte. I hear what you're saying, Jonathan. Yeah, no. You're like, what can you do? I'm gonna raise a formal protest. Here's the thing. Under Armour doesn't care, right? If it gets them eyeballs and people watching, they don't care. My son Jackson's in the 8th grade, right? He's going to the 9th grade. So he's playing 8th grade tournament. Team from Canada comes down. There's a kid on that team who's supposed to be 14, maybe 15, 6'8", 275. Like this dude would rival linemen in the NFL. My son, who's like 6'2", 150, like how do you, he's like, Dad, I literally pushed him with everything I could. He would not move. And so, I get it. We're Americans. We're competitive, right? We all want to win, but like, you tell me what you think in the chat, right? If you're in a tournament and my son, and I'm 6'8", I'm one of the tallest dudes in that place. My son, who's 11, is 140th on the growth chart. 140th. This kid is 6'3". No, they definitely don't check birth certificates. No, they don't. They don't because they don't care. They don't want to check, right? They just want eyeballs on what they're doing. Yeah. And now I've always been a guy that says, hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. But there's like a little bit of push in the back and, to try and get an edge. And then there's like, I could have got out there. I literally could have got out there and be like, yep, I'm 12. Right. And they were like, cool. So I can't help but just say, I find it funny. Right. Because you know what they say, if you're not laughing, you'd be crying. And, but I will say this, and this does apply to trading. This does apply to us. I've said this before. I'll say it again. It doesn't matter. Really, it doesn't matter. Right? It really doesn't. I mean, is there cheating in the market? There has been cheating in the market since it began. All right. There's always someone trying to get an edge, always someone trying to do something. And my point is, you can either complain about it, you can take your ball and go home, or you can say, okay, what can you do? Right? What can you do? And you play hard, right? You play physical, you do all you can with what you got, and you see where the chips fall, right? And that's the lesson I try and teach my boys. My oldest son, Jackson, was terrified to play this team. I came to find out later, they're actually all juniors and seniors. They're 17 and 18. That's what a little bit of intel, a little birdie whispered in my ear. But hey, it doesn't matter, right? If you're going to go into high school next year, you're going to be playing juniors and seniors. So suck it up, Buttercup, right? You play tough, you play smart, you play aggressive, you give it all you got, and that's it. Joe Keem is making comments about the orange man and trading and inside. You know what? Maybe it's true. You can like it, you can hate it, but either way, right? What you got to do is you got to say, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I see basketball as an opportunity to teach my boys how to be men. And the world doesn't care. The world doesn't care about your feelings, right? You can always control your attitude and your effort. And that's what I tell them, your attitude and your effort, right? Play like a man with his hair on fire. Once I learned to not give a darn and just play, right? My game totally changed. So that's it. All right. So let's get into Ask Me Anything session. I'm going to put my glasses back on so I can look and appear intelligent. Glyvin. Who knows what that's from? Glyvin. Right. You'll tell me when you were born, right? Or a decade. So I'm going to bring up our notes and I'm going to start taking our notes and let's see, the Ask Me Anything session for 6/22/26. And let's get questions for tonight. Let's bring that up. Boom. close, and then I'll share my screen and we will get after it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Boom. Okay. All right. Let's go through this. Quick question from Jonathan Coons. My most successful trade pattern. I'm going to see if I can copy this, Jonathan Coons. Put that up here for tonight. Yeah, this is the time you guys can drop your questions in the chat, and I will do my best to address them and answer them and help you any way that I can. All right. Taught my kids about taxes by eating 38% of their ice cream. Tom, the dad tax is real. I do that every time I buy them something. Yep. What's your feeling about this strategy? Set up my chart 21 SMA 5200 with a MACD, looking for a golden cross buy signal. Yeah, I like it. I like it. But I'm going to talk about it for a second because that is going to be an important one for you to understand. Okay. Let's go. At what point does it make more sense to do spreads instead of buying a call or put, for example, when they cost more than $500 per contract? All right. Get into some spreads, man. Oh, man. All right. Okay, let's see. What tick index do you use? I can talk about that. Bring that up. Okay. Let's go to 4 here. All right, that's good. Can you describe your decision-making process for entering QCOM? What indicators did you look at? Absolutely. Great question. Market open scanning. Do you start with large premium and go to charts or vice versa? Fantastic question. I'm going to handle that one. And you know me, once I get to 7, I stop. And then I make sure I handle that before we get too overwhelmed. All right. And then what signal do you use to confirm a dip buy play? Great question there, Jonathan Coons. Jonathan Coons, prize pupil, always ask great questions. So friends, if we were to handle these questions, yes or no in the chat, would that be helpful to you guys? Would that be helpful? Yes or no in the chat? Talking about successful trading patterns, strategy. At what point do you buy a spread versus straight directional option? What tick index? Describe your decision-making process. Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, Pam's here. Guarantee you, hair looking fabulous. Fabulous. All right. So let's start at the top. My most successful trade pattern in penny stocks. So just so everyone knows, he says pennies, he means penny stocks. Is the the EMA 9 bounce. Basically take profits at resistance, then double down once it bounces off of EMA. And I duplicate this with options. The short answer, right, is absolutely. But you need to understand this. Why? Well, I use the 8 EMA as the momentum moving average. If a stock is above the 8 EMA and has momentum, it should bounce off the 8 EMA, right? And so I'll give you an example, right? If it doesn't bounce off the 8 EMA, it's still in trend, but it has lost, right, that momentum because it broke the 8 EMA according to my rules, moi, right? And so when I look at this, right, I'll give you an example of this name. Okay, here is the daily chart of INTC. INTC, right now. Okay, what happened was in INTC, let me bring up this. I'm gonna bring it up because I talked about it tonight in Iris. I talked about it this morning in Omen. If you guys don't know what those are some of my trading services, just a heads up. So what do we got here, right? Let's take a look at this. Look at here. Okay, so this is INTC, and we have pure momentum in INTC. Look at this. Never I mean, if I had the 5 EMA on this, it was probably, touching the 5 EMA on the way up, right? And then what happened? Pull back down, broke the 8 EMA. So what do? We lost momentum, but we held the 21 for a bounce. Back up, higher low, down we go, right? And again, this is lower highs and then lower lows. So we've lost momentum and then we lost trend. How do we know that? Because the color in the ribbon shifts. Then guess what? We're back above the 8 EMA. We're back in trend. So confirmation here, we got trend and we got momentum. And so once that happens and this sucker comes back down to the top of the cloud, the 8 EMA 117, it is supposed to bounce. That's exactly what it did. If you picked up INTC at 117 for the bounce to 141, you right now would be a happy boy or girl. And so, yes, it can work, but make sure that it's in trend and that it has momentum. And if it closes below that, like it did here, it has likely lost trend. But again, look at this. INTC, up, 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 came back down. What is the launching pad? 8 EMA, boom. And then off she goes. Off she goes. Hope that answers your question. Right? Let's go. Oh, here it is. Okay. Right. If it closes below the 8 EMA, you can stop out on the trade, but look for a bounce on the 21 EMA. Right? Okay. What is your strategy about? You're feeling about this strategy? Set up a chart with the 21, 50, 200 SMA and a MACD looking for a golden cross, which by the way, a golden cross, I know how I define the golden cross. How would you define the golden cross? Who asked this? This is usually the 21 breaking up back through the 21 breaking back up through the 200, right? That's usually, would you say the same thing? Is that right, Terry? Is Terry the one that asked that question? Okay. So I say that because here's a chart I want to bring up, show you guys, because naturally, right? I have that. Okay, I have that. Let me bring this up to you. I have this chart that's got that same setup. Now, again, look at this. This is the 50 simple. Okay, this is the 20 simple. This is the 10 simple. And then, of course, you can't see it, but there is right here, the 200 simple. So again, swap the 21 for the 20, add a 10 in just for a dash of spice. And so I have this on multiple time frames. And I see that because once we see it break, right, the structure break down, right? And we had this beautiful structure all the way through here. This was a great move, gapped up. But then once that structure breaks down, okay, until it reorganizes on the short-term time frame, you got to then ask, what's it doing on the other time frames? So right here, we're kind of an indecision point on the hourly time frame, and then on the daily time frame, you'll see that we have had we're still back. Let me do this. Okay, so I bring this one up because this, right, which was the 10, and this is the 20, right? Notice this. Once the 20 broke up back through here on the 200, this red one is the 200. Once the 20 broke up back through here, it's on like Donkey Kong, right? I mean, boom, 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 SPY, taking off. So can you do that, right? Yes, you can do that. Well, that's why I say, some people say this is the 20, some people would say it's the 50. You call it what you want, right? But what I see is this thing came back down here, didn't quite hit the 50, but now, what we have is we have the 10 back below the 20. And so even on the daily chart, we don't have the nice structure that we saw all the way through this trend. The minute that broke down on that Friday that I was in Italy, right, that was it, right? That was it. And so it's starting to change. So if you want to wait and watch, the question was, can you do that? Sure, right? Sure, you can do that. Like even if you want to look here on the 30-minute chart, right? 30-minute chart. Let's maximize this one. Okay. We see that the 50, right? That the 50, the 10, the 200, they're all converging right here. Like we're at this point of decision in the SPY. It's either going to break and go further down, because notice how it never closed above the 20, right? It's going to break and close down and fall down, or the 20 needs to bounce off that 200 and get its way back up. And so the long story short question was, can you do this? Answer: yes, you can use that strategy. Many do, but you need to back test that strategy, and you need to paper trade that strategy in order for you to get confidence in it. And here's why I say that. Far too many times we jump from thing to thing to thing to thing. Just type "I have" in the chat if you have been a person that has jumped from like strategy to strategy to strategy to strategy. And I have seen so many people do this. And the vast majority of folks who have is because they don't have personal conviction in that strategy, because maybe they've back tested it, but they've not taken enough trades in it, enough of a data set to have confidence in that strategy, right? They just haven't. But once you've, like me with my hook shot, I've taken that shot so many times, right? That I know what I can make and what I can't make. And I have confidence in that shot. I do not have confidence in the three-pointer. I just haven't taken it enough. That wasn't my game, right? But that's what I'm saying. You got to have confidence in it so you can do that. But again, I would say to you, yes, it's a viable strategy, but just make sure you trade it so that you can have the confidence in it. Okay. At what point does it make sense to do a spread instead of buying a call or a put, for example, when they cost more? Yeah, I would say my answer for this, yes. If they are not affordable for you, you can take a spread. If you guys know what spreads are, not something I can teach you right here. Can you explain how to backtest a strategy? That's what I want you to look up. That's what I always say to folks, right? Google's your mother. Go Google it. Go ChatGPT it. Say, hey, help me find a like TradingView is something that I think can help you backtest. There's a lot of different services out there that can help you backtest a strategy, right? To see, hey, on this name, the last 50 times this happened, would it have worked? Would it have not worked? Right? You can look it up. And as you look it up, as I'm talking, drop it in the chat, let folks know where they can do it. All right. I've created a machine for that. So I don't use any service, but I got a machine. That's for me. Don't worry about that. Yes. If it's not affordable, you can take a spread. I would also say, if you are expecting a move, but not a huge move, because the ticker isn't a big mover, the market is in shop, right? Or the season isn't set up for it, right? Then that's another reason, right, to take a spread, right? That is another reason to take a spread, right? If you think like Intel right now, INTC is going to 150, right? You can take the 140. You can buy the July 17. This is not trade advice. I'm just telling you. Buy the 117.40 calls and sell the July 17 160 calls, right? Now you can't make any more. You can't make any more than $20, right? Which is the width of the spread. But right, if it goes to 155, you make money on the 140 calls, and the 160 calls expire worthless. Yeah, those would be the 2 times I would say that. And yeah, you can use on-demand replay for Thinkorswim to back test for free with your account. Very appreciate that, Steel Stocks. Good looking out, right? Answer here. Answer. I use the Tickus, right? The reason I use the Tickus is because it captures a larger swath of the market than just the tick, right? Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, right? Those of you who don't know what this is, right? This is the tick. This is an internal in the market. This is the NYSE tick. So it says the buying and selling pressure of every tick up pushes it up, and every price move every price appreciation up pushes it up, every price appreciation down pushes it down. So I like to use this with the with moving averages, and here I'll show you what I mean. Let me do this. Let me show you. Actually, this is how I do it. I like to look at the Tickus on a 15-minute chart, okay? And on that 15-minute chart, I have the yellow line is the 100-day moving average, right? There it is, the 100-day simple moving average, and the blue line is the 21 exponential moving average, okay? And so if you guys would notice last Wednesday when we had Kevin Warsh, right? Warsh you out. When that happens, then we see the Tickus drop hard. And anytime you get down to a negative 3,000 Tickus, it's danger, Will Robinson. Anytime we get to a plus 300 Tickus, it's like, dang, Gina, we hot. And so this is what I want to tell you. This is very, very important for you guys to understand. Okay, this is the tick. Okay, the tick is for the NYSE, the New York Stock Exchange. But if you look at the Tickus, Tickus is for all U.S., right? All U.S. Buying and selling, right? And so it's wider, it's larger, it's seasoned, okay? Larger swath. What unit of measurement is a swath? I don't know, but it's fun to say swath. So when you look at the Tickus, right, this is what it is. The Tickus is what is called a market internal, right? Think of it like the thermostat on your car, okay? And if it's too cold, that's a problem, right? If it's too low, think about like it kind of gives you a sense of how the market is doing, right? And that's buying or selling pressure. Okay. And so I would say that if the market had a DJ, you know what I'm talking about, DJ? Right? The DJ, if it had a DJ, the Tickus is the DJ, right? If the Tickus is high, then it's an upbeat song. That we're talking like 120 plus beats per minute, right? If the Tickus is low, then it's a slow song, right? And that is, we're talking like 45 beats per minute, okay? Now, I would run to a song that's 120 beats a minute. It's like, if it's if it's low, it's a slow song, it's like, think about like Chris Stapleton, right? And bow, 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 Right. So again, it's just the analogy I'm trying to use to kind of get the thought in your head. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that some people love slow songs. They like it when the market drops, right? They want to play it to the downside. Some people like fast songs, right? And they want to disco, just right? EDM music. And so this is the internal. I like the Tickus because it is wider. Anyone know how to get the Tickus in TradingView? Not sure I can help you there, Harry. But if anyone does, drop it in the room. Can you describe your decision-making process in QCOM? Let me do this one. QCOM. What indicators did you look at? Yes. Let me go back here. And I want to drop that down, and we'll go to QCOM here on the daily. Okay, now what do we got here? What do we got? Let me go here. All right, so what do we got? Well, we have a beautiful chart here, right? We get earnings, it pops higher, it comes down, it respects the 13, it pops higher, it comes back down. But then again, that drop with the market, we saw it drop, we saw it recover, and now it's just going sideways. Now it's just going sideways. But let me ask this question for QCOM, decision-making process. Somebody tell me, what sector is QCOM in? What sector? QCOM, Qualcomm. What sector is Qualcomm in? Technology, right? Tech sector. All right? Yeah. Tech sector. Let's say, yeah, we can say semis. Okay. And so here is the thought process. Number one, right, when it comes to QCOM, right? One, does the chart look constructive? Right? And I would say that with price back above, right, the moving averages, that the moving averages are structured bullishly, and that we are above the ADMA. So moving averages constructed have a bullish structure, and price is above the 8 EMA. Okay. All right. That's number one. Number two, it's in a strong sector. So we're talking XLK, technology, and semis, right? And semis, right? So both strong sectors, right? You want to look at technology, you want to see XLK, right? Relatively strong. You want to see semis, SOXL, I'm still holding this sucker, right? 300, dang, Gina, hot, she hot, right? And so, you know, does the chart itself make sense? Okay, great. Will there be wind at its back? Technology sector, check. All right, what else do we have? Do we see others, right, pursuing this, right? Smart money, namely. Well, let me bring it up. Saw a bunch of this last Friday. We saw above the ask, right? Repeating buys, right? Looking very, very interesting here. Okay. So that was from Friday. And then today, what we saw was even more buys, right? Now they were askish. This is only 500, right? But again, more buys. Some today, some on Friday. Saw sweeps for this, right? Very interesting. And so for me, that's a check, right? Check. Yes. Friday and today. Okay. So what do we go to next? Then we got to ask the question, right? Number 4, when constructing the trade plan, is it giving me a good risk reward. And so I look at it here on the shorter term time frame, right? For Qualcomm, and then we look at it here on the 60-minute time frame, hourly time frame, right? What do we see? We see this. We had the run, okay? We had the run, and now what's it doing right here? It did the run, and now what's it doing? Now that we got the run, what are we looking for? Looking for the rest. Now, could this thing break down here? And look, it's down overnight. Okay, all right, granted. But it's really just in this range. I mean, if you think about it, it's just in the range. I would say here to probably, yeah, this is previous resistance. We're going to go right about here. Okay, cool. So it's in the range. All right. Now, when I think about the trade, I also got to ask myself the question, when this thing pulled back here to this lower half, I picked it up like, you know, on this drop, right? Because I was expecting it to stay inside this new range, and it hasn't. And so now I've drawn out the 119 as the alternative. Okay. But I hope this is answering your question, right? Because what I do is I got to say, is this giving me a good risk reward, right? And the question is, am I buying at the top of the range or the middle or the bottom, right? And so for me, I got some at the middle, right? I got some at the middle, right? And then again, always make sure you size that appropriately. So I thought I was getting a pretty decent risk reward. I saw a lot of support for this at 119, thinking about 119 should be that 220, like 219, that should be the general area, right? You can't really do it with a line, you kind of do it with a zone. And so for me, it just checked the boxes. It's constructive chart on the daily chart, right? Looks okay. Constructive chart on the hourly chart, run, rest, run. It's in a strong sector with even a stronger sector in the semis with a narrative. Are there others pursuing this? Yes, we saw smart money Friday and today. And then can I get it with a good risk reward? And then at that point, right, is the question of number 5 is this. Finally, is the market supporting this direction, right? And the answer for this right now in the market is, again, let's look at the market here on the hourly time frame. The SPY, what's it doing? Again, kind of similar, just kind of chopping, just kind of in a range. You know, it's not really supporting it. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not certainly not like dropping off the face of the earth. Okay, and so I would just say that market support on this is probably neutral. And so that is also impacts my sizing, right? It impacts my sizing. And then finally, what's next? Create the plan, and then trade the plan. It works or it doesn't, right? Create the plan, trade the plan. It works or it doesn't. And that's the thing I really want to convey to you tonight on Ask Me Anything is this. If you have reasons, right? Reasons to take it, and you've thought it through. It's not this like knee jerk, right? If you have reasons, then hey, that's a good thing. It's a good thing you got reasons to take it. All right. But you also have to hold that trade loosely. You got to know where you're wrong from. If this thing opens up below 220 tomorrow and doesn't bounce, okay, I'll get out, right? Take my loss and move on. It's not about winning or losing. You're going to lose. But do you have a plan for how much you're willing to lose with a constructed plan, idea, and reasons for why you like it and it could bounce? Does that make sense? Right? It's holding your expectations loosely and your rules firmly. That's what it's all about. Okay. Market open scanning. Do you start with large premium or do you go to chart or vice versa or both? And the answer for this is both, right? If I see a large order on the scanner, I will go look at the chart. If I see a nice chart, I will go look at the scanner. Now, make sure you check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? You don't want confirmation bias to impact this trade idea. Oh, it's a big order. I mean, in NVIDIA, I mean, look at what we saw this morning, right? Here, let me bring this up. This morning, we saw on the golden sweep. See if this thing will update. Come on, Scanner. The golden sweep today, it might be working. It might not show it. But today we saw a couple really nice trades on NVIDIA, short-dated trades on NVIDIA, all right? And you don't want to go to NVIDIA and be like, ooh, it's got to do this. Friends, it doesn't have to do anything that you want it to do. Nothing, all right? Just because that happened does not mean that's the thing, right? All you got to do is you got to find that trade. If you like it, you plan your trade, you trade your plan, and that's it, right? And if it breaks down, you let it go. It doesn't have to do anything you want it to do. Nothing at all, right? Here it is. Let me show it to you. Look at this. Big old, short dated. Look at this. 215, millions of bucks. And you're like, oh man, it's gotta go, doesn't it? It's gotta work, doesn't it? And then you look at NVIDIA and you're like, come on, man. Right? Would this have worked for NVIDIA? Look at that. Well, these things hit at 237. So like right here near the top, it dropped. And so you could have had the plan to say, yeah, like the 215s on the pullback to the 13 for a bounce, and you got in at 211.60 and you got, and you took it back to the high a day. Cool. Could have been a great trade. Next trade was at 1013, which is this candle. And guess what happened? Let me see if I can find the right one. Nope, that wasn't the right one. Yeah, it didn't work. It dropped the rest of the day, right? So you see this thing at 1013, you're thinking, hey, cool. It's going to bounce off the 21 and I'm in there. And you could make that plan. You could make that trade. You could see that order. You're like, dude, it's right. The VWAP, it's going to bounce. Let's go. And then where are you wrong from? Just make sure you keep your losses small. Okay. And so that's what I would say to you, again, to make sure that either one, I'll look at either one, but I have to have confirmation and multiple reasons where I have thought out the trade, right? You don't want confirmation bias, right? In this, right? Remember, just because you see it on a scanner or someone else talking about it, don't get married to it. Set your stop level, AKA where you are wrong from. And if it breaks it, get out. That's it. That's it. Okay, so 101010101 is asking this question. Hey, I would love to trade options. Friends, let me give you a little trick here. Okay. You can go to NVIDIA 260622 calls for 215, and you can just play the options chart. Okay, you can do that. Look, here it is, 5-minute chart, right? You can just play the options chart. If you look at the options chart for this, right, it's consolidating here, runs up into Monday, cool, hits this peak, drops, and then you might say, look, I want to buy this thing back down near, the low of the day where it opened today at say 30. And had you bought it at 30, it ran back up to 71. You could have done well, right? So just trade the options chart if you want to, right? That's what I would tell you. Okay, let's go to the last one here. All right, what signal do you use to confirm a bounce on a dip play? Right, answer, right? There are a couple different ways to do this, right? One, simple, price pulls back to your level, buy with a clear stop. Because we see often that price will just pull back and it will wick that level and it will bounce, right? Just like wick, and then it goes, right? We've seen this multiple times, right? And so you just have it in with a clear stop, you buy it, and if it breaks, you get out, right? You're saying, hey, I'm willing to set my buys at those places to pick up the trade, and if it rips back down through it, so be it, right? That's the thing, okay? Or, right, that's one. Two, you look for a bottoming pattern. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about here for the first one, the simple one. This was last week, Citigroup, 260618 calls for 144. Called this out in Iris. And on the daily chart, right, on the daily chart, if you were playing the daily chart in this name, what did it do? Well, here's what it did. Okay, we called this out on this day, and then you look at the daily chart and you got the 20, if I can make this a little bigger. You have the 21 EMA, whoop, wicks right back down to that 21 EMA level, right there, like 50 cents, and then boop, and that was not fast, right? I mean, that was not slow. Like that was like a boop, and you just, you set it, and you try and get it, and if you don't get it, so be it, okay? So that's one thing, right? Another thing is looking for a bottoming pattern. Now, let me bring up this name, IWM. Let's look at the IWM. Okay. And we'll look at this thing on a, here's a great bottoming pattern. Okay. Okay. So we have this drop. Okay. We're down. Okay. Here's the open. Here's the close. Here's the open. Here's the close. So we're lower. Here's the open. Here's the close. Doesn't break back above that candle. Right. And then here's the open. That's an inside day. And then we gap up, but immediately we drop, okay, to even lower low. And then we open higher than the previous drop, okay? And then once we break above the top of the body of the low candle, right? So here's the top of the body, right, of that low candle. That's at 237. And we break above that. That's the bottoming pattern. So look for a bottoming pattern. One to consider is a break above the top of the body of the lowest candle, right? Another is a break above the previous swing high, in which case that would be here in IWM. That would be, 239. We broke that, and then boom, we ripped and off we went. Okay, so if you want to look at like the IWM here on a 5-minute chart, this was a really nice one to be in today. Okay, we saw IWM like run up, okay, and then down, right, down, and then notice this was the lowest candle. Did we ever? We never closed. We never even got back above that candle. I'm going to make this closer for you. Okay, here's the lowest candle. Didn't get above it. Still couldn't get above it. And then lower we go. Now that's the new low candle. Couldn't get above it. That's the new low candle. And then at 10:55, when we see it engulf that candle and close above it, that is potential bottoming pattern right there. Or you wait for the previous, swing high, if you will, right? And then you get back above that. But that's one way to look for a bottoming pattern. So 2 ways to pick the bottom. You just kind of set your level and it pulls back down to that, boom, pick it up. Or 2, you look for a bottoming pattern, right? That's how you do it. Okay. And you just look up bottoming patterns in the market. I love trading the strongest name, right? And I should have been trading the IWM today, quite honestly, because it was a beast. And this was a beautiful pullback area here because it found support here pre-market at 296. And then boom, it found that support here again, 296, and then bounced back up here to 299. Would have been a real nice trade, intraday trade on that. So, okay, let's see. I think we are all out of questions. All right, yeah, we are. And it's 8:48, so I still have to write my wife's anniversary card. That's for tomorrow. So I'm gonna go do that. All right. But here's what I want to do. I want to put copy these to Google, and I will give you guys the. I'll share these notes with y'all. All right. Let's see. Let's click on the share button here. Anyone with this can get it, copy it. All right, here are your notes for tonight. Right, so you got that link. You should be able to see that. Hey, I got to get to 1,000 subscribers so my kids think I'm cool. Make sure you guys tell your friends and your family and bring others along. Yeah, I see you guys flood into this, so good. Now you got it. Yes, tomorrow is my 21st wedding anniversary. Hold on one second. I want to show you something. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Where is it? Here it is. That's right. I have this handy. It's a clock with our anniversary on it, so I never forget. And here's a photo of me and my bride when we got married. We were just kids. Look at us. We were just kids. I had that long hair. Craziness. She was a beaut, and I married up, and I highly recommend that. Why I did not get a haircut before I got married, I do not know. But alas, I didn't. We got married on the beach in Aruba, and yeah, we were just babies. We were babies. We were in our early 20s, but great. So I celebrate her tomorrow. If you guys don't know this, check out the book, The 5 Love Languages. My wife's love language is words of affirmation. So when I can write her a card, tell her I love her, and why I love her, then that is all that she cares about. And so 21 years of marital bliss, mañana, and I'll wake up, make her coffee, give her a card, and tell her, she's the best. So appreciate y'all. Hope this is helpful tonight. You guys should have all the notes. And as always, love doing it. I will say this, if you guys are not a part of the community Grow with Ben, you can go sign up, and you can get a lot more of these live sessions for free at Grow with Ben. I do a session on Wednesdays, midday, Thursday morning before market opens. And now we're going to start doing a session on Sunday nights for about a half hour before the Monday opening. And so you can go to Grow with Ben, sign up for free. I'm going to be updating that soon with a lot more of my links for my charts and whatnot. So you guys can have access to that. And yeah, I think that's all I got for tonight. So friends, appreciate y'all being here. Be good. Be good to others, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all soon. I'm out most of the week next week because I'm taking the kids to the lake. Made me promise every summer I would take them to the lake with their friends from New Hampshire where they grew up and where they were born. So we'll be doing that, and then I'll be back the following week and probably for that Monday session. So all right, that's what I got. Be good to others. We'll look forward to talking to y'all soon. See you now.